Human Understanding teaches an observation exercise, often called meditation, which permits you to become objective toward your problems and allows your heartaches, bad habits, fears, and anxieties to be completely eliminated from your life without effort on your part. Until you've begun to practice this exercise, much of what you hear on the following program may be shocking and upsetting to you. But if you will listen calmly and with an open mind, you may discover the key to the peace of mind and joy for which you've been searching all of your life. And now, from the foundation of human understanding, here is Roy Masters.
It's time for Advice Line. Call now at 800-866-8883. That's 800-866-8883. Here's your host, Roy Masters.
Hello, here I am again. So, when we met.
Oh, don't go there. You want me to talk about that?
A little bit.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to get to the root of the thing. All right, I only knew Roy 2 weeks when I got married to him. And I don't know, I don't think that was enough time.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
You wouldn't be sitting there.
But the whole thing is, when I met you, I was brought up with southern manners. Everybody was in those days.
Well, you mean in the South?
In the South, that's correct. So the whole thing is that I had never met anyone like you before in my entire life.
I have never met anybody like me before either.
I thought you were going to say me.
No.
Crap. Anyway, so when I met you, I wasn't sure about you. You sort of overwhelmed me a little bit, and you did really different things from any other person I'd ever seen, like being outside the store where I worked every day and not making plans, just standing there and telling me what we were going to do for the evening. And so that's sort of the way that I got to know you. See?
Yeah.
Now, do I have to tell the whole story?
If you want to.
I don't want to. It's too long.
Well, I'm just waiting for some calls.
Well, why don't people call?
I don't know.
What are you doing? They're afraid of you?
Well, I'll tell you what it is.
They're not afraid of me.
I'll tell you what it is.
What is it?
And I've talked to you about it before. Here's an interesting part of what I think people don't know. Every now and then, well, actually it happens twice a week, a person calls with a very serious problem that no one has ever been able to fix.
All right.
I know, like a lady called last evening with manic depression.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and a very severe problem.
Right.
And she was in serious trouble.
Right.
So, and she was beside herself, and I know how to fix people. And an 800-866-8883 if you want to get in on the line. Otherwise, I'm going to send my wife home early.
I'm not
She
ready.
has to go in the next room.
No.
That's all.
I'm not ready. I'm going to tell people what happened to you when we had that radio station.
Well, yeah, but I want to tell you why.
Yeah.
Why the phones get muted, because I do things on the radio that is disturbing to people.
Well, I know that.
But this is so I can bring it out and talk to you about it a little bit.
All right.
And sort of talk through you. And so when people call when they're in terrible straits, and they're taking these drugs and nothing helps. So you know that little 3-minute meditation I do?
Oh yes, I love it.
And so I apply it in that moment. Mm-hmm. And so I tell them to close their eyes and look at their eyelids. You know how to do that.
Yes, I do.
And then before you know it, they've snapped out of it. And I can guarantee you nearly all of them get better for the rest of their lives.
I believe that.
But the trouble is, this is the trouble, is that when I do it on the radio, it disturbs people.
Right.
But then I have a choice. Do I let a person go because it disturbs people because they think it's not real? It doesn't seem real to them.
Of course.
So here's my dilemma. Do I stop doing that so as I could have an ordinary conversation with people, or do I look like a charlatan doing magic tricks. See, because that spoils the program. I always thought in the beginning that people would think to themselves, wow, how does he do that? You know, maybe I could bring my wife up to Grants Pass or something. Mm. You know, that doesn't happen very often. It's a long way to go. People can't come from Timbuktu and from different parts of the country because they don't have the money. And so people calling in, they don't have much money. They're broken. So I reach out through the radio and help them with it, but it has a strange effect on the audience.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And now another thing I do, and I want to explain it. Mm-hmm. There's some very bad people listening to the program. There are a lot of good people listening, but a lot of the kind of people that say bad things about Sarah Palin. You know that.
Oh, I
call
know.
her all kinds of horrible things.
I know.
They're out there listening.
Well, that's good.
But
maybe they'll learn something.
I take the opportunity to try to get to them once in a while.
Okay.
And so, you know, I do it, and it's so I can't explain right now because I'm not in the mood of doing it. But
no.
I have a very profound effect. What I do is intimidate them to such a degree while they're listening, and by talking about things which are wholesome and noble, you know, it disturbs them and they're angry. And I say, well, now you see, when you get angry and you resent me for that, what happens is I get inside you. And when I go through that ritual, I said, how does it feel to be intimidated?
Right.
But I'm not intimidating them with meanness like they do. I'm intimidating them with truth. And I know they're getting upset. So here's my opportunity to use the upset to get inside them.
To shake it.
To shake them, to let them feel what it's like to be penetrated by something. But this time it's not just something cruel like them.
Right.
It's something good.
I know.
So it gives them a chance to possibly wake up. But people are afraid of that too. See?
I know.
So, and I try to use these as showcases to show how you deal with bad people. Because I know that are really ugly people listening.
Right.
And there's also wonderful people listening. But the wonderful people tend to be skeptical.
I know.
And so it's like, how do I help people without, you know, just by, see, the times that we grew up, Anne, not the same times as now.
I know.
And in those days, people would call in, and I'd have fun with them, and we'd talk about problems. But these days are very dangerous.
Very.
And it's very important that I somehow get the message out and get people to understand that much of the illness and the suffering we have comes from our inability to deal with these kinds of people that I'm getting under their skin.
Yeah.
Who are listening. So that is the problem with some of the reasons why people don't call so much.
Well, I can understand that.
So
now I want to talk about something.
Okay.
I want to talk about when we came up here 20 years ago to Oregon.
Was it that 20 years ago?
Yes.
Okay.
And we started...
1 second, 800-866-8883 in case you want to call me.
Okay. We started the radio station over near Medford in Central Point. And when we first came, and you would talk about the problems the way that you do to women as well as men, and the local people were so threatened by what you said, they started to say that you were a woman hater.
Yeah, I know.
I remember the manager talking to me about that. And I looked at him and I said, don't you know the only way that these people in this area can see that he's not a woman hater is me. I said, I'm the only one that can show that how he relates to women. So he says, why don't I have you and Roy do a local show? We did a local show for about a year called the Roy and Ann Show.
That's right.
And we had a lot of fun. We used to argue over the air. This was a local show. And I liked to read then. And I had a professor in September who was from a university in Texas. And so he starts talking about education. Well, and I had read the book. So I set up the appointment for him to be on. And when we were talking, you questioned him. And I just said to you, Roy, that's not what he said in the book. And you said, well, he's not making sense with this education. And I just finally said to you, Roy, will you shut up and let me talk?
Yeah, you got the biggest round of applause.
I know. But the whole thing is...
You remember things like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I have a good memory anyway. Even though I'm 80 years old, I still have a good memory. But then the radio station took off, and people saw you in a different light as far as women, but they're afraid of you, not only up here, but all over the country, and all over, even in Europe, we went to Europe.
But they're more afraid of me than the bad guys.
Well, I know that.
Yeah.
And it's not
because
you.
Everybody, because the tone of our society has so deteriorated that even the best of people have the worst in them.
I know. It's true. It's true. All also.
I know.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
I know.
It's not the same. America's not the same places we came to.
No, it really
Maybe a murder every 2 years.
That's true.
But now we have 50,000 murders every year, and nothing else but misery and suffering and drugs and alcohol and wife beating, God knows what. And so I try to deal with that.
I know. You're doing a good job. I know you are.
For more information about Roy Masters and the Foundation of Human Understanding, call 1-800-877-3227 during regular business hours Monday through Friday Pacific Coast Time. That's 1-800-877-3227. And visit www.fhu.com. That's www.fhu.com. Or write to P.O. Box 1000, Grants Pass, Oregon 97528. That's P.O. Box 1000, Grants Pass, Oregon 97528. Hi, this is David Masters with a thought for you about being a caller to Advice Line. I remember once I was listening to the radio, and I wanted to make a comment, so I decided to call the show. Now, it wasn't easy, because it's different when you're on the other side of the microphone. When you're on the phone, it takes some courage. I remember feeling a little bit nervous when I called this particular show. I finally got through, and then the call screener hung up on me because they didn't like my point of view. Not on Advice Line. If you call the show, if you have a question, most importantly, but whether you agree or disagree, it doesn't matter. You get a chance to get through and have your say or get something answered that could be very important and change your life. So don't waste this opportunity. Call 1-800-866-8883. That's 1-800-866-8883. Be a caller. Participate. Have the courage to have your questions answered. Have the courage to agree or disagree. One way or another, don't waste this opportunity, because someone else's life could change as a result of your call. You ever think about that? How your life and the future of your existence could be changed because somebody else ends up hearing something important that you had to say? Call 1-800-866-8883. That's 1-800-866-8883. I know my dad would love to hear from you, and he really thrives on the most difficult questions, so come up with a good one. For the rest of you who are interested, find out more by going to FHU.com. That's the Foundation of Human Understanding, FHU.com, or writing to P.O. Box 1000, Grants Pass, Oregon 97528. But really, because it's a talk show, it's not just one person talking. It should be two, and sometimes even three. So again, you're invited to call. Be a part of it. Be a participant. Don't waste the opportunity to have your questions answered. Call 1-800-866-8883 and join Roy Masters on Advice Line. Hi, this is David Masters. How do you like being called a statistic? Well, that's what you are, because statistically, the odds are against you. That's why my dad started well over 50 years ago to understand why people do the things they do. And that's why he wrote his first book called How Your Mind Will Make You Well. Let me read something from the foreword of the book. Our path of existence depends on our choice in this matter. By not choosing rightly or not knowing how, we continue responding to a compulsive external tug on our senses, which causes us the agony of rebelling against or conforming to what only appears to be right. Pavlov demonstrated that dogs would respond increasingly to repeated stimuli with data and feeling, and eventually, idea alone could produce the reaction. Conditioned reflex may be normal for animals, but it spells agony for mankind, daily robbing him of the will to do right. Does that resonate with you? If it does, go to FHU.com. You need to get the book called How Your Mind Will Make You Well and begin to use the Be Still and Know exercise as taught by my dad. If you go to the FHU.com website and listen to the Be Still and Know exercise, this exercise is very simple. You can listen to it before you buy it. Go to FHU.com and listen to Be Still and Know. And then also for the military, we have coping strategies. So there's no intrusion on your privacy. You can listen to the coping strategies, feel what it feels like to be in control again. Go to the FHU.com website. That's FHU.com. The name of the book is How Your Mind Will Make You Well by Roy Masters. And Be Still and Know, the exercise. Both available at FHU.com. Conditioned reflex may be normal for animals, but it spells agony for mankind, daily robbing him of the will to do right. Does that resonate with you? If it does, go to FHU.com. Or write to P.O. Box 1000, Grants Pass, Oregon 97528. And now let's join.
What's on your mind? Call Roy at 1-800-866-8883.
This is Advice Line program number K6864. That's K6864.